welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Senator, and all senators, for having me here today on the traditional and unceded territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation. The Yukon, as you all know, is the westernmost part of Canada, has an important and unique role in the conversation on Arctic security. The Pacific is key to the Yukon's mineral exports. The Bering Strait is one of the places we can see incursions from Russia or from China into the North American Arctic. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, my fellow premiers and I in the North, we've been united in our message to our colleagues in Canada and also our international Arctic allies. We believe that healthy, resilient communities are the foundation for a secure and sovereign North, and investments in security should help develop strong communities, dual-purposed. We have engaged at the Council of the Federation, and all 13 premiers agree of the importance of strengthening Arctic sovereignty and security, and have called on the federal government to identify new financial resources to support sovereignty in Canada's north. This summer, the Yukon hosted ambassadors to Canada from Norway, from Finland, Iceland, Sweden, and Denmark. I also visited Iceland and Greenland, where the 3 territorial premiers addressed the Arctic Circle Forum for the first time. These engagements revealed a shared vision of well-supported, healthy, and secure northern communities. We need to work closely with our Nordic partners to address the shared challenges that impact the Arctic, including climate change, Arctic security, and community resilience. Yukon infrastructure has an important role in making the defense presence in the north more agile and sustainable. Having diverse, robust, and secure energy, transportation, and telecommunications infrastructure will increase Yukon's and Canada's resiliency to threats. It will give the Department of National Defense the ability to defend against various threats while minimizing impacts on local communities. Our extensive highway networks connect all but one of our Yukon communities, and that includes the Alaska Highway, which is the only overland route to Alaska. The Yukon government operates 5 airports and 20 aerodomes, including our international airport in Whitehorse and many remote airstrips throughout the territory. Improving these runways and highways will increase resilience of the Yukon communities and provide more robust and secure supply chains for any deployment. Some of the biggest risks to our infrastructure are driven by climate change. This summer, a portion of the Alaska Highway was washed out for a number of days. Now, thankfully, traffic could be rerouted through British Columbia, but there are areas where the Alaska Highway is the only link into the Yukon and, by extension, Alaska. The Yukon also sees periodic telecommunication and internet outages. Folks down in the south of Canada were surprised and frustrated when Rogers network outage occurred this summer. These types of events are no surprise in the north and unfortunately are more common. We are investing in telecommunications redundancy that will help improve resilience in dozens of communities in the Yukon, also in Northwest Territories. But these projects require considerable time and resources and are often overdue. The Yukon is interested in multiple purpose infrastructure that can provide long-term benefits to both the Canadian Armed Forces and local communities as well. The security of North America and the Yukon's future prosperity are linked to a secure supply of critical minerals. The Yukon has substantial critical mineral interests that can support clean energy and transition us to a low carbon economy. The federal government of Canada has a Canadian Minerals and Metals Plan that recognizes our country's potential to provide secure, environmentally sustainable minerals for domestic use and for also export. Canada has 25 of the 31 critical minerals in Canada's national strategy, including world-class tungsten, zinc, and copper. Our access to tidewater allows for a relatively direct supply to international markets as well. The Yukon has a robust and effective assessment and regulatory regime that continues to uphold the responsible resource development in our territory, and our work to build strong relationships with Yukon First Nations has increased investor confidence and ensured that local communities are involved in and benefit from development projects. The Canada-U.S. Joint Action Plan on Critical Minerals, which the Yukon is a signatory to, describes how to advance mutual interests of both nations. Now is the time to develop these critical minerals and for the governments to establish favorable conditions to enable that. We know that most of the North American Aerospace Defense Command modernization investment will not go to the north. The bulk of the spending will go to southern firms for specialized equipment and services. We ask that those developing the programs look closely at the assets that can be left in the northern communities for future use, not only infrastructure and equipment, but also experience, training, and capacity building. When you look at the Canadian Rangers, for example, you see an intersection between security, safety, and the capacity building that can bring lasting benefits to our communities. Rangers can be quickly mobilized, participate in coordinated responses with our other agencies, facilitate engagement with communities, and the skills that they develop through the national defense programs support other community safety activities such as search and rescue. When Operation Nanook is in the Yukon, we see opportunities to build capacity and to prepare us to manage our own disasters and emergencies, which have been increasing in frequency as the climate continues to change. I believe the North American Aerospace Defense Command programs over the next few decades can have a huge positive impact on the northern communities and build northern resilience. The Yukon's role in continental security is most obvious in our connections with Alaska and being able to supply American military operations there. A well-maintained Alaska highway is critical to that. We have an agreement from 1977 from both the United States and Canada for maintenance of some of those portions of the highway. Securing adequate funds for this work is a recurring priority of our government, and we continue to work with our Alaskan counterparts who recognize the critical importance of this land route. In closing, I'd like to thank the committee for listening to our government's perspectives on Arctic security. While you were not able to come to the Yukon for your northern tour, I understand that you have heard from some Yukon First Nations leaders last week. I hope that you do have an opportunity to visit and to speak with other Indigenous and community leaders to hear directly from them about these matters. In my discussions with Prime Minister Trudeau, we have agreed that Arctic sovereignty and security comes first and foremost from the people of the North. Working together to support healthy, vibrant, thriving, and safe communities in Canada's North is essential to long-term sustainable Arctic security. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.